Google the word BOMPA, B-O-M-P-A, you learn a lot on conditioning, tapering, and
Bomba.
So now is the time in this sector to establish pre-competition, competition, and post-competition routines. Routine berarti, okay, how to explain this? Pre-competition routine. Right? For example, for me as a sprinter, before competition, I go to that spot early as possible. Alright, to check where the toilets are, where to buy food, stuff like that. So establish pre-competition. So I know where to go, okay, and I know where to warm up. So I go there as early as possible. That's my pre-competition routine. Okay, I do my warm up away from everybody or with everybody, stuff like that. And then where do I put? What do I use first? Do I use layers or do I just use my singlet for sprinting or stuff like that? So that's a pre-competition routine. So for your kids, maybe for netball or for football, where do you put them to warm up? Di sekitar mana? So stuff like that. And during competition, what do you do? Okay, where do you do your activities in competition time? And post-competition, selepas competition, what do? Do you terus balik? Or do you have a cool down and a stretch? Stuff like that. We need to establish this at this sector, right? The training to training sector. So sudah tudang menghafali, they have this knowledge that when they get to the elite level, easy, right? They don't have to know all this. So flexibility is always good at this stage because this is when you have a certain growth of bones, tendons, ligaments, and muscles, especially at this stage. So important, I made this red because of any shortcomings or omissions at this stage will significantly impair future development. So this is probably a very critical window right here, this window where if you don't manage to give them this stage, drop your knowledge, in the later years they'll miss out on that. Alright? So athletes who miss this stage of training will never reach their full potential. And Bruneians complain why Bruneians don't have Olympians and stuff like that. Alright? Probably because of this. I'm speculating. Okay? Don't quote me on this. Okay? So people ask, why Bruneians aren't producing stuff like that. So go back to the asas. Fourth one, now you go to training to compete. Now kamu sudah bersedia untuk training to compete. So you optimize fitness preparation. How do you train in a week? Berapa kali kamu train in a week? Sudah kamu pelajari. And 50% time devoted to development of technical skills. When you kick a ball, what do? You raise your leg, you have a full swing. Remember angles? The bigger the angle is, more force generated. Okay? So if you just kick like that, you have more force. Or when you follow through, you have more force. Right? Stuff like that. And 50% of the time devoted to competition and competition-specific training. Right? Stuff like that. That's training to compete. Also, during this time, it's very essential to perform these skills under real competition conditions. I'll give you a very good example. A case of my rugby players in Australia. I trained a few rugby team in Australia, and then they win most of their local games. Nada orang melihat, kosong saja. This team against that team. All of a sudden, we go into the finals, and then the big bosses come. Orang punya parents, orang punya principals, orang punya section leaders, section heads datang untuk melihat orang main. All of a sudden, they break down. They don't know what to do. They're nervous because of all the attention, especially when they have a grandstand stadium like that. So those kind of things need to be established at this stage. The training to compete stage. Right? So expose them to stadiums, training at stadiums, expose them to bring the parents in, and let's see how they handle pressure at that time, stuff like that. And now is probably the best time to have individual tailoring. Okay, tailoring artinya you measure your measure your body, berapa besar your waist, stuff like that. Kalau dulu kita ni, this is your baju, everyone wear this. Now, no, you can't wear this baju. You need to have a specific tailored program. So stuff like that. So when they come to the elite level, they don't need. They just have programs. Okay, this is what you do. This is what you do. This is what you do. No, not all of them do the same thing. Alright. And then training to win. Now you maximize fitness preparation. You push them to the edge. You push them to the edge. Just when the edge is near, you try to push them without falling. Alright. This is when you maximize fitness preparation. How many hours do you do in a day? Twice. You need to train twice. Right? In a day to achieve this. So kalau Bruneians, they only train once a day. So now it's probably the best time to train twice. Because in the early hours, the Jamaican team, Usain Bolt, Safa Powell, Michael Frater, the Jamaican team, they train at 4 o'clock in the morning once, and they train at 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 4. Because they did research and the body adapts, is awake more at 4 o'clock in the morning. Your biorhythm, you adapt more to stress during that stage, and during 4 o'clock, so this is when you do your preparation, training to win. Not maybe some had the opportunity to do that. Alhamdulillah. So all of the athletes, physical, technical, tactical, mental, personal, and lifestyle capacities are now established. Now as an athlete, orang tahu sudah bagaimana untuk menangani stress. After competition, what do you do? Do you party or do you well done to yourself? Okay, you go for stuff like that. So this is the time to really know what your post-competition things are. So athletes train to bid for major competitions. I tell you, major competitions. If they have small competitions, they say, I don't want you. I just want to go for big competitions. Okay. So this one is the 10-year rule. I find this very, very interesting. It takes a minimum of 10 years, 10,000 hours of training for a talented athlete to reach elite levels. In 10 years, I started running in 99, CK 99. So 99, I stopped last 2006. That's not even cukup to get to it. And I asked myself, kenapa menjadi Olympics? Okay, stuff like that. So when you learn all this, you find out stuff like that. Okay. So 3 hours of training or competition daily for 10 years. So you need to be fully dedicated and give your life to these kind of things. Right? So this statement is from the Bali guy, Dr. Bali. He made this statement, and he won a Nobel laureate because of this. So the Path to Excellence report, you can Google this in the internet. The Path to Excellence report. It's a PDF file, .pdf. It's a comprehensive view of development of US Olympians who competed from 84 to 98. So they made a report on what happened to these athletes dari 84 ke 98. So maybe for you, if you wish to pursue your master's degree or doctorate, you can probably check what has happened in Brunei from the 90s, in the 80s to now. Okay? What kind of activity, what of sports achievement has been reached, stuff like that. It will be a really good reference for Brunei sports, something that Ministry of Sports should do. So this is an in-depth study by USOC, US Olympic Committee. So what happened in this study? Diorang mendapati the US Olympians began sport participation. Average age-nya lelaki 12, perempuan 11 years old. They started in that sport already. And then most Olympians reported a 12 to 13 year period of time